This is a picture taken at 10 AM on the 30th of May in a completely random 7-Eleven located somewhere in Japan. As you can see, there is a long line, but this company isn't even popular, nor is it located in one of the big cities, in which the line looked something like this instead. Essentially what's happening is that people are lined up to get their hands on a cup of instant ramen called Misokin, made by the biggest YouTuber in Japan, aka Hikakin, who collaborated with Nissin to make his own branded instant ramen, and while the campaign for it did have a bit of hype marketing behind it, even the creator himself didn't expect it to sell out as fast as it did during the first sales batch. In fact, not only was it instantly sold out, but it was also heavily scalped, to the extent that I wouldn't even be surprised if it was the most scalped product in Japan's history, at least in terms of total units sold. So, to combat said scalping, during the latest re-release, each person was only limited to buying just a single cup, which is probably also a part of the reason why people went to konbinis with their entire families. Japan has around 21,500 7-Elevens across the entire country, and each one of them received a batch of this ramen during these specific dates, and almost all of them were sold out during the first hour of being shelved, no matter what part of the country you were in. Personally, I just happened to go to a supermarket at around the same time they were being restocked during the latest re-release, so I decided that I might as well check it out for myself as well, but to my surprise, they were already sold out during the first 15 minutes of being stocked, and the same went for the next one I went to, so I pretty much already accepted the fact that I missed the boat. Still, I decided to give it one more shot and check another tiny nearby 7-Eleven, and astonishingly, they were being stocked exactly as I arrived, so I was successfully able to get the ramen. For me, this whole experience was kind of a quote-unquote culture shock, because while we do get limited time campaigns in Estonia from time to time as well, they almost never have any hype behind them, and there literally aren't any Estonian influencers or even celebrities who will be popular enough to have this kind of an impact across the entire nation, despite Estonia being a fraction of the size of Japan. It really goes to show how big Hikakin actually is in Japan, and he's also really popular with children, so their parents and grandparents will most likely know of him, which is also probably why there were so many elderly buying Misokin early in the morning, so they could give it to their grandchildren. When it comes to myself, I've been learning Japanese every single day over the past 5.5 years, and once I started finally becoming a bit more fluent, one of the resources I started using for learning almost exclusively was Japanese YouTube. I even made a video about my 15 favorite Japanese YouTubers, and Hikakin, for his unstoppable, inspiring tenacity, was one of them, as I had been watching his videos from time to time to learn new words, as well as to familiarize myself with Japanese pop culture. So the fact that I was able to go to a random nearby konbini and buy a cup of ramen made by a YouTuber that I had watched before for learning felt kind of surreal. So now, 2 weeks later, I think it's finally time to see what this ramen is actually like. A lot of these Japanese ramens have the sauce glued to the top. So if I remove it, oh no, it broke. Okay, so this is what it looks like above, and the nice thing is that they also tell you how much water you should use and stuff, but even if you don't know, this is what it looks like. I shouldn't have removed it. Anyway, even if you don't know, there is this line here that you can use to just match the water to. These brownish things are actually bamboo shoots, and unlike a lot of instant ramen in Japan, it doesn't actually have any meat in it. And the smell is extremely close to the garlic bread that you can find in Estonia. So anyway, let's heat up some water. And did you know that in Japan, water heaters are extremely slow? Right now it has a half a liter of water in it, so let's see how long that actually takes. Okay, it finally finished. And now I am putting the water into the cup. Okay, I hit the line. So the reason I shouldn't have removed the the futa, whatever it is because I'm supposed to put it like this. Okay, got it somewhat decently. By the way, this wrapping says to warm it up on the top of this cover so the oils will melt and then you can pour it into the cup later. Also, this one says 5 minutes, but I guess most instant noodles take like 3 minutes in Japan. Okay, it's probably been long enough by now, so I'm going to open these chopsticks that I got from Photomoto apparently and see what it looks like by now. Oh, it's like really what? It looks like I didn't add enough water, but I even added a bit more than I needed to, I think. Holy, this is incredibly heavy. It's like it has really high volume of food, I suppose. Now I'm going to break this packet, but I always hate these because if I open like this, then the oil touches my fingers and I absolutely hate when my hands get oily. So I have to be a bit careful. Okay, let's see. Please. Okay, this is good enough, right? I'm not sure if it has like any actual flavoring to it or if it's just oil. Tastes like oil with some slight additives. Okay, I'm going to mix it. Wow. Oh, okay, after I mixed it, it became more watery. Let's zoom in. No, not out. Wait, I can actually zoom a bit more. Okay, maximum zoom. This is what it looks like, I suppose. I mean, it doesn't look that special, but interestingly enough, the Estonian garlic bread smell has pretty much disappeared by now. Now it's like a completely different smell. This video is actually really easy to record because this cup is circular. So when I was recording the keyboard videos before, I was always having trouble with my camera slightly being like slanted, so it looked unnatural, but since this cup is circular, that's not a problem at all. Anyway, I have seen a video by PDS and Seto. They both said it was good, but I've also heard that it's like kind of mid, so I want to try it out for myself. I have tried perhaps 3 to 5 or 6 different instant ramens while I've been here in Japan, so I suppose I can compare it to those. And also, after most of the noodles have disappeared, I'll also show a trick that I came up with, sort of. Okay, I'll be trying it out now. Interesting. It has a very particular taste that I feel like I've eaten before, but I'm not sure where. But honestly, I expected it to be a bit saltier because it uses miso paste, which is like really salty, hence misokin, and also a lot of garlic. So I expected it to be like salty, creamy garlic. Honestly, I feel like it would have been better if I did not put that oil packet into it, because I feel like the oil taste is too strong. But regardless of that, I think it's actually pretty good. Okay, I shared this a bit, and their review was also that it's pretty oishi, and that it's basically like regular miso ramen, but it has a pretty strong garlic flavor to it. By the way, this is 300 yen, and there's so much in it. It is bigger than like the average cup noodle, so I feel like it has really good value, especially considering that it's like kind of a special ramen as well. But if I were to give it a rating based on a few mouthfuls, I would say that if Tom Yum with a special ingredient that I'm not going to be revealing now is 10 out of 10, and Tomato Chili Noodle, who is also a good C++ YouTuber, is like 6 out of 10, then this is like 8 out of 10, I think. However, I really wish I could try it without the oil that I added into it. I can understand how some Japanese YouTubers said that it's, you know, like normal, but honestly, it's my second favorite ramen, I think, right now. Especially if the taste changes for the better the way I expect it to if I did not add the oil. But anyway, let's have some sip of misokin. Yeah, that's my review. I like it, I really like it, but I wish I didn't add the oil. And perhaps if the taste was a bit sharper, like if it was a little bit more salty, I think it would be perfect almost. But I think the reason it's not like extremely salty is because Hikakin himself wanted to make it like more palatable for everyone, essentially. Like it might be too spicy if it's like too garlicky for like old people or like children and stuff like that. So yeah, but anyway, I'm not interested in making a mukbang video, and I'm not going to eat this all by myself, so I'm going to skip forward to when I can show you the final trick that I want to show you. Okay, one of the things I want to mention is that like alcohol-free beer doesn't really suit with a lot of the ramen that I ate, especially when it comes to the secret Tomoyankun combo that I keep talking about. But like the moment I drank this, I realized that wow, it fits so well with misokin. It's actually insane. なんだろう、なんかどんどん上手くなってるっていう感じ。ああ、もしかしたらそのちょっと冷めてるから、そんなに熱くないもう。I was just able to eat one of the bamboo shoots, and they add such a nice crunchy texture to the ramen as well. But I still want to see what it tastes like if I don't add the oil into it. But I guess that's going to be for next time if they ever sell it again. But now it's time for not a secret ingredient, but a trick that you can use to make your instant ramen instantly a bit healthier in terms of nutrition. Something I saw in a Seto Koji video was where he added rice into this leftover soup. But what I came up with is adding lentils, because lentils actually have a lot of protein and other nutrients, but they're kind of bland on their own. So what if I add... I think I chopped some. What if I add some into this soup? And like, you can add so much because there is so much left over. So it went from like pretty horrible protein to calorie ratio to a pretty decent one, I suppose. Okay, maybe perhaps that's enough for now. This is like 100 grams of lentils raw, I think. So what if I try to mix it up now? Oh, honestly, I could have added even a bit more. Okay, even though it looks a bit weird, I mean, the color kind of changed and stuff, but I assume that it's going to be really good. Let me try it out. Okay, I expected it to be a bit better than it actually is. I think the lentils had too much water in them, so there's like not enough salt now. But if you add less, and if the lentils aren't so like overcooked, then I think it would have been fine. Essentially, the soup got really diluted with the water from the lentils. Anyway, now I get to eat a bunch of lentils for free. Oh. Oh fuck.